Hello everybody, they call me Muse and I welcome you back to Baldur's Gate 3, where we have a party of 4 and a locked door. You should probably see if Friend of Starring can't do something about this door for us. It's a difficult one, but we do have some bonuses. We've got one set of Thieves' Tools available. If we don't succeed, we're buggered. But we've got +3, +5, +7, +8 to 11. Actually, it tells us that right there. I didn't need to do the maths. Let's roll the dice. That's a 1. We have automatically failed because we rolled a 1. Shall we try again? Let's use our inspiration. You get inspiration for completing things that fit your character's backstory. So I don't know when we got that inspiration. Might have been for deceiving people. Those tieflings last episode. That's just a success. We got the full 11 points of bonus. And the door's open.
Spotted a trap. Move with purpose.
And so we find ourselves in the dank crypt. So dank. We could disarm these vents. We might have other options available to us though. Let's split off from the rest of the party.
Yes, I'm getting a distinct whiff of crypt. Undisturbed too. Until now.
Let's split off Astarion as well. Yeah,
How considerate.
he's found a trap. There's a trap on that sarcophagus. So, we'll move him in there. We have found a button as well.
You have my attention.
I believe this button will just disarm this trap. So, what we'll do, drop a quick save to be on the safe side. And then, let's see. Dexterity check to disarm the trap. We've got 7 bonus. And that's a critical success, so that's a 20. It's the opposite of a 1, you always succeed. So we've disarmed the trap on the sarcophagus. But I still think other traps are going to go off if we aren't careful. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe that's all we needed to do. We've got ourselves a key. Is there a button that lets me quickly group everyone together? It's G.
Be careful.
G for group.
There are traps about.
Move with purpose.
So these vents are harmless in and of themselves. They might spew things out if other traps go off, but we got lucky and other traps didn't. What else did we pick up? We picked up a spear, the Watcher's Guide. When it misses, you get a bonus to your next attack roll to give you a better chance of hitting. Kind of cool. We could potentially equip it on Lae'zel, but she likes the longsword. Shadowheart could use it. She's only got a basic mace at the moment. Is she capable? I believe it's a simple weapon. So she should be okay with it. Different types of weapons, you see. There's simple weapons and there's martial weapons. Now, we have a side door over there. But we're more interested in going through this locked door that we've picked up the key for. We find ourselves in a much larger room with scribes.
Sword-carrying scribes. What was so subversive about their words that they commanded protection?
It's a good point.
I wonder what was so subversive about their words that they commanded protection.
That's very true. It's very clever and insightful of you to say, Shadowheart. I don't know where you got the ideas from, but that could be something worth saying. Either way, we've looted most of them. One down here, though. We should probably grab their weapon if we can.
Jurgle, the scribe of the dead. This chapel must be ancient.
Jurgle? The scribe of the dead? one of the dead gods. There's a few gods of death out there. Now we've got a key and everything. A heavy key. Where can we use that? Is that this door? No, it's not, because this door is just open to us. It's a bit lighter in here.
A chained up book in a long abandoned temple. Ooh, temptation, old friend. We meet again.
Yeah, we
Never
can't
seen
help.
a coin like this before. Most peculiar.
Can't help but poke that book, I think. But also we picked up a soul coin. Compare Infernal Engines. Okay, so our key that we picked up wasn't for that chest. Let's have a look at this Book of Dead Gods.
This book is far lighter than it should be with such a massive lock.
We can knock the lock open with a spell. That gives us a good chance to succeed, but using Arcana will give us a slightly better one. And we can add the guidance bonus once again. Easily done.
As the lock opens, a loose page comes with it. Magic pulses from the parchment. What was once script is now an obliterated scrawl. You have a sense these are names, a list. But of what?
We are pretty smart. We might be able to figure that out.
Gods. These are the names of gods, once lost but now restored after the Second Sundering. The last three names in this book sit close together, but are so devastated by the scroll as to be unreadable. Entire pantheons have dwindled and been reborn, silently recorded by this book.
Interesting. So we've gained an inspiration point for that. And some XP. Yeah, we've unlocked and read the Book of Dead Gods. And we got the scroll that fell out of it. Shadowheart was also inspired. And yeah, Astarion did get his inspiration bonus earlier after we betrayed the Tieflings. How difficult are we looking? Really difficult. But again, we've got an 8 to 11 bonus. So not too difficult for Astarion. And it contains some loot that we can sell for gold. Fantastic. Now let us go back into the main room where Jurgil's statue is hanging out. See if we can't find anything else to do in here. There's a button.
What's that?
It's a fight.
Hells! Something just woke up down here.
Turns out all those skelly bones that we saw earlier are looking for a
Let them
rumble.
come. The darkness can be to our advantage.
Now, what sort of rumbling have we got going on? We could potentially switch to our bow on Astarion. And we did a bit of damage. Letting them come might be a good idea, as Shadowheart says.
I speak, they burn.
We can't quite reach a destination there because everyone's in the way, but we could do a little jump. And can we cast a spell? We can. It does nothing. So Shadowheart, you take the lead because you've got a spear and a sword. And Lae'zel, you also take the lead because you have got a sword. Spear and a shield. That's what Shadowheart's got. Bit of a strike from old Skellybone there. We can potentially live with that. Now that bugger's come right into view. He definitely wants some. 55% chance to hit. 85 for that lad though. And down it goes. I guess we can just firebolt this guy. It deals a bit more damage than Ray of Frost. Or it can do. Yeah. Reasonable damage. And then, shall we use our new spear? Test it out like. 45% though, that's not great. Sacred Flame's a bit higher. These guys probably haven't got very good dexterity, so they don't save against it. Yeah, 8 dex. This guy's not saving against Sacred Flame anytime soon. It's got good health though. So yeah, you just get in its way, Lae'zel. Maybe Pommel Strike it. It's good damage. It's immune to dazed, but we'll take the damage. And now we've been silenced. So that guy's concentrating on silence, so we might want to bash it in the head to just stop it from keeping us quiet. So let's switch to daggers, I think. Can we sneak attack this lad? We can. We've got advantage because he was surrounded by our dudes. So that works out well. And then I guess we'll just rush forward with the Starion. Now, Gale is silenced. What if he jumps over to there? Doesn't have the movement for it. Could jump to there. Does he have the movement now to get out of range of the silence spell? He does. Which means he can deal 1 damage. Should probably spread out a bit if they're going to be casting silence auras. Now, which one was it? It was that one. But heck with it. Let's just bosh the nearest one. And then a jump with Lae'zel will give her a bit more speed, a bit more range, as it were, but still not enough to actually reach a target. So we'll just run in and prepare. Ouch. That was quite the sting. And now we're silenced again. So we should probably get Gale up on his feet. Come on, lad. Up you get. But that's used up our action for the turn. Now, can we sup a potion? We can. And we could move on out. And supping a potion was a bonus action, but we've lost our full action because we were just being resurrected. There's not much else we can do right now. Let's just try and burn down their numbers a bit. That's the one that's low health. The silence has been broken. Now this was the bugger that dealt good damage to Gale, so yeah, let's get some revenge. If they want to keep firing Ray of Frost at Shadowheart, that's fine, because it doesn't seem to be having great effects. Then let's just switch straight to Shadowheart. Let's skip Gale for the moment. Because he's a bit far away, you see. Whereas these two
Let my name be known.
are capable.
Not surrender their secrets lightly. Something drove them to resist.
Yes.
They're unthinking cadavers. I may as well feel sorry for a breadbasket.
Oh, Starion, you big spoon. They've got no loot, because we've already looted them. So let's go and see what it was that they were guarding, shall we? There's a little room.
A lot of effort to hide one sarcophagus.
It's also
When my
hiding
beauty
an
sleeps
amulet.
soon, I may just get a tad malcontent.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, we need a rest. But we're going to pop that on. The Amulet of Lost Voices, which will let us speak with dead. Definitely going to come in handy down the line, because there's a lot of dead people in this game. There'll be more by the time we're done. But there's quite a few already. And there doesn't seem to be much else in here, so I guess we'll just open the sarcophagus.
So he has spoken, and so thou standest before me. Right, as always. What a curious way to awaken. Now, I have a question for thee. What is the worth of a single mortal's life?
That is an excellent question, friend. Who's the he that you're talking about, though?
An arbiter of certain matters. But that is not important now. Wilt thou answer my question?
Yes. Yes, we will.
So, I ask again, what is the worth of a single mortal life?
I mean, that could depend on the mortal or their deeds. You could argue that we're all equal, but then some people's deeds might affect that. It kind of depends on the mortal and on their deeds. Let's go with deeds.
I am sure thou believest as such.
We do. That's why we said it.
Very well. I am satisfied. We have met, and I know thy face. We will see each other again at the proper time and place. Farewell.
Thanks, Withers. And then he just pieces out. What a cool guy. Now, how much money do we have about our person? I guess it's not a lot.
Chambers are much changed.
How long you been here, friend? 147 gold. It's not the most gold in the world. I don't think it's enough gold for my purposes. So let's take a stroll out this side and tug on this lever. We find ourselves at the chapel entrance. We can go for a stroll up here. Potentially we can climb these routes and get a bit higher. And we can see in the distance some folks. Gimblebok and Tamman.
Die a bloody pauper unless you take a few risks.
Why don't we just wait a while? Make sure it's safe.
So, there's potential for risks and safety and things of that nature. Are they planning on busting in and seeing what's going on? We've all just failed a survival check, which should probably make you paranoid. But I think it's fine. Now, we could rest. We've got a short rest, but we're kind of out of spell points on a lot of people. Let's pop back to the roadside cliffs. We're now sort of on the other side of the chapel, because the chapel's there, so we've just bounced across to here. But we've got other places to be right now, I think. Because my main goal right now is to be able to respec, and that's going to require a bit more money than we've currently got, which might require a vendor of some sort. So we'll head back past these dead tieflings. Don't know what happened to them. Definitely wasn't us. Don't ask questions. And now seems like a good spot to have a long rest, perhaps. So let's go to camp. And here we are. We've got a chest. A traveller's chest. Anything good in it? It has got the Mask of the Shapeshifter, which allows us to change our form, basically. We've got some peculiar clothing chests, and some adventurous packs, and some dyes. All sorts of fun stuff. Basically because I pre-ordered the game. Had it for some time. So maybe we'll keep that Mask of the Shapeshifter on for now. Now, what's in the peculiar clothing chest? The cape, the loot, the bicorn, and a little dagger. That's Divinity, Original Sin stuff. And then we've got a bunch of camp supplies and a few potions and whatnot, so we'll take all of that for sure. We could leave behind the clothing chest perhaps, although what are we wearing at the moment? Just regular clothes. We do have a simple robe though, so the robe is over the top of the clothes, I think. Yep, now we're in our pants. Pretty ripped for a wizard. So we can have a chat to our friends at camp. But we also appear to have a bone man over here.
We meet again, as predicted. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
You can't just show up at my camp and then say we meet again as predicted. It's like you made it happen by showing up at my camp. But anyway, what exactly are you?
There are many answers to that question. None are important.
Skeletons aren't supposed to be able to talk.
Correct.
Are you going to explain further?
No.
Okay, what sort of services can you offer, friend?
A mending of the threads between life and death. Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave soul to body once more.
So you can just resurrect people just like that. Why is it so easy?
Because it is my calling. There is little else to explain.
You've not done a great job of explaining, but what's the cost anyway?
A matter of coin.
200 gold. Okie doke. Actually, we only need 100 to change class. That's great news. So we can now go through the whole respec process. Can you help me change my class for 100 gold?
As thou desire.
Cool, so now we can begin to get our cleric on. We are a cleric. Which cantrips might we require? Let's see. I mean, guidance is probably useful on Gale, because he's going to be in the party all the time, because he's our party leader. Light will infuse an object with light. Let's produce flame. We'll put a flame into your hand. And that gives you light as well, so that could be useful. Sacred Flame. It might be nice to have a damage cantrip. And then Thaumaturgy. Gain advantage on intimidation and performance checks. So that could be useful in dialogue perhaps, so we'll go with that. Subclass, we're going to be the Knowledge Cleric. So we are adaptable and adroit in all manner of languages and skills. Seems appropriate. And we've got Sleep and Command. This spell is a better version of the sleep spell we already know. Well, that's good to know. Our deity is going to be our former lover, Mystra. The Mother of Magic. And then our ability points. Alright, why have we got one in strength already? Oh yeah, it's because of the attribute bonus. So yeah, you can add 2 points to a stat, and you can add 1 point to another stat, and it doesn't cost you. And these are the stats we're going to go with. Basically, and I could be wrong on this because I'm not an expert, but I'm not going to preface everything I say throughout this playthrough with I could be wrong. So if I am wrong, just let me know. But basically, there's not a lot of point in having odd numbered stats. They get bonuses based on how high they go. And like, our dexterity being at 14 means we get +2 to our dexterity rolls. But putting it up to 15 would still leave it at +2. You'd have to put it up to +16 to get +3. And then 17 would also be +3. So odd numbers don't make a lot of difference to our rolls. So because of that, we're going to leave everything at even numbers. I would like to have strength higher than 8 to increase our carrying capacity and our jump distance, but sadly no. Dex at 14 is the highest you generally need to go if you're using medium armor, because medium armor users can get up to 2 points of bonus from their dexterity. Constitution, we need to stay alive. Wisdom is our key stat, so we've put that at 16 for now, as high as we reasonably can right now. And I've gone for charisma over strength, because Gale's going to be the face of the party, so we need some hope of achieving our goals when it comes to persuading people and whatnot. Now, skill proficiencies. There's a few places where we can spend points. We've got general proficiency, where you get bonuses, and then we've got expertise, where you get even more bonuses. We've spent all our points pretty much. We could move into nature or religion instead of arcana and history. We could move into medicine instead of religion or insight, but I think we'll leave those as is. And we are now cleric. But we don't have the gold to make anyone else a cleric right now. Or do we? Astarion, could I borrow you for a moment? We'd just like you to come over here, please. Now, can you pickpocket with us? It's tricky. But we did it. Turns out Withers doesn't get mad if you try and pickpocket him anyway, so that's fine. Let's also level up Gale a bit, because we are level 2 now. We'll stay with Cleric, of course. We can turn undead. And we've got the knowledge of the ages, so we can gain proficiency in all skills of a chosen ability. So we can boost our chances of, say, dex rolls or charisma rolls. Pretty cool. Now, Astarion is already over here, so we may as well respec him next. Now, can you explain why you're helping me?
Be assured, it is not by choice.
Okay, so you're not explaining anything, that's fine.
As thou desire.
So, Astarion the Cleric. Let's see. Cantrips wise, we'll go with Bursting Sinew to explode a corpse. That seems pretty fun. Resistance. And Blade Ward. Bit more defensive, perhaps. Although, maybe we still want Sacred Flame, just so we've got some sort of damage that we can use regularly. Now we're going to be the Death Domain. For reasons that aren't yet clear, Astarion has a certain affinity with death. So what does that allow us to do? It allows us to ring a bell of impending doom, which sounds fun. And we can gain temporary hit points, and we can cast Ray of Sickness. And our necromancy cantrips that normally target one creature can target 2. So that sounds jolly good. Bone Chill. I think we'll keep Toll the Dead. So it's 1 to 12 damage, but if the target's at full health, it's 1 to 8. So it's just a better spell than Bone Chill, probably. Although Bone Chill, yeah, is better against undead, perhaps. Our god is going to be Kalemvor. Guides the dead to their appropriate planes in the afterlife. And destroys undead. Stats-wise, we're broadly similar to Gale because we're another medium armor user. But we are going to put a bit more into strength and a bit less into charisma. Charisma's still not useless because we'll need it to make saving throws against certain types of spells and whatnot. And then we've got different levels of ability here. So we've got sleight of hand proficiency already. And insight, maybe not religion, maybe medicine. And at level 2 we get the channel divinity, touch of death, so we can deal extra necrotic damage with melee attacks. Possibly useful. We will see down the line. Now we have kind of lost the ability to be particularly good, I think, when it comes to pickpocketing, but let's see how we go anyway. Target now 14 rather than 11. Yeah. And we failed. But Withers doesn't mind. There we go. After a few dozen attempts, we got the job done.
Stay idle.
Shadowheart is already a cleric, but that's not going to stop us from respecking her because we want to change her stats up a bit. Oh, she can also take Toll the Dead. So that's kind of cool. And then maybe Blade Ward to reduce a bit of damage from various attacks. Could come in handy. Trickery Domain is what we're going to stick with. So she can charm people and she can disguise herself. We don't really get a choice, I think, with her to change her god, so Shah remains. And then we will set her stats to the same as Astarian's, really. Medicine and History. Yeah, we don't really need Persuasion because she's not the face of the party. And at level 2 she can invoke Duplicity. She can distract enemies with an illusion. Sounds fun. Now after more pickpocketing, we can get Lae'zel on the action. Once again, we cleric it up. Now, Resistance and Blade Ward and Sacred Flame might be the best bet here. And our subclass is going to be the War Domain. We're a War Cleric. Which means we can wear heavy armor and use martial weapons. And we can potentially make additional attacks with our War Priest charges. Our deity is, of course, going to be Vlaakith, the Lich Queen, the leader of the Githyanki. So effectively a god. And our stats are going to be slightly different. As a heavy armor user, we don't benefit from additional dex. And we're going to be doing melee attacks a bunch, so we're going to put the points into strength instead. Everything else, though, more or less stays the same. And at level 2 we get Guided Strike. We gain a plus 10 bonus to our attack roll if we channel our divinity. Sounds just marvellous. I think, though, we want to steal back our gold once again. Withers won't mind. It's the giving of the gold that's important, not the keeping of it. And we should probably look at changing our gear up a bit as well. So, Gale's pretty much the only one who's got anything about his person right now. Let's see, we don't have any heavy armor at this point. Our armor class is currently 12. The higher the better. If we change into some light armor, it goes up to 13. This is beneficial. Now, Shadowheart's already got medium armor on. Lae'zel has got medium armor on as well.
Someone there?
Astarian has a light armor already with 11 on it. So, yeah, we need better armor. As for weaponry, simple weapons like quarterstaffs are fine for your medium armor users and your simple weapon users. Although Astarian can use martial weapons, I believe, so maybe he could use a better weapon than his dagger. Not that I intend to be meleeing with him too often. But we could give him a short sword or a scimitar. We're going to end up giving everyone a shield, I think, in their offhand. But we don't have a lot of shields right now. Lae'zel can continue to use her longsword in both hands for the moment, so that's good. And then, is everyone allowed bows? Astarion's got a little short bow, that's cool. Lae'zel's also got a short bow. We have picked up some new bows. So, yeah, even a regular cleric that doesn't have a lot of weapons training can use short bows. But most of the time they'll be using spells instead. Now, we've got a mace on Shadowheart that she's not using at the moment. We could give that to Gale instead of his quarterstaff, but it doesn't make a lot of difference right now. We need a shield for him. That would be useful. As it is, let's have a long rest because we want to replenish all our spell slots and everything else. So now it becomes night time. Everyone's just chilling in their clothing. We could chat to Shadowheart and Astarion for a bit of general dialogue, but they don't have much to say, whereas Lae'zel does.
A monster forms inside us, and you think to be idle. I knew your kind to be fragile, but I didn't foresee the severity. Be quick about your rest. We must locate a creche.
Yeah, I mean, we need to pace ourselves. We can't just get exhausted and then just fail.
A thick-headed notion in a complex circumstance. Do you suppose the parasites inside us dare to rest? That the Geich do not still pursue us with each peal of the bell? Take your rest. I will stand watch. Should a single tentacle split your skull, I will not hesitate to end you.
Thank you, Lae'zel. That's kind of you. And now it's nap time. Oh wait, no, someone in the camp still does wish to speak to us. Okay. Oh, maybe it's Shadowheart now. Yeah, she's going to be all like, what were you talking about?
What were you two talking about?
We were discussing the next steps.
I see. I'd be careful with Lae'zel.
I mean, yeah, you don't trust her. We have established that, but we weren't confiding, we were just talking.
So am I. If we're to survive, we need to trust each other. You seem reliable. I think you know how important it is that we find someone who can cure us. Best if we focus on that.
I mean, agreed. The sooner we find someone to help us, the better.
Good. We might even get lucky and find one right away. As I see it, we're overdue some good fortune. Rest well.
Excellent. Now it's probably bedtime. Now we can use some of our camp supplies. We've got a bunch of supply packs, which are an automatic 40. Or we could use up some of our things like haggis and fish heads and whatnot that we've picked up on the way. A supply pack will do the job.
Sleep is a hazy oasis on the far side of a desert of worry. You know exactly what this illithid parasite will do to you. Within 7 days, you'll become a mind flayer. But what about the bomb in your chest? Ceramorphosis is likely to destabilize it. What then?
I mean, it's going to explode. It'll probably flatten an area larger than Waterdeep.
You imagine the explosion. Thousands will die. You have to stop it. Ceramorphosis and the orb itself. You'll need to drain magical energy from a powerful artifact soon. As you contemplate your hubris, your eyelids grow heavier and heavier.
Excuse me, Mr. Dekarios. Mr. Dekarios.
It's Tara.
Yoo-hoo! Destiny is at your door. Won't you at least twitch the curtain?
Tara, is that you?
Well, it isn't the mother of all magic, lucky for you. You look terrible. Are you eating?
I'd forgotten, actually. I'm glad that you reminded me before I starved to death.
I won't be teased, heckled, pestered, or vexed, Mr. Dekarios. Not before I've had my due.
Oh, she's a good girl. She's the entire reason I'm playing as Gale.
Ah, that's it. No one manages the nuances quite like you.
It's good to see you, Tara. I have missed you very much.
And are you, of course. The tower just isn't the same without you stomping about in the background. So here I am, come to reinsert myself. After all, remember what happened last time I let you out of sight? Of course you do. You're still paying the price with that ticking time bomb in your gullet. The indignity.
Nestled amongst your books and papers, Tara bore witness to your greatest triumphs and your greatest failure. You made yourself a walking cataclysm, the annihilation brewing within you just about held at bay by your constant consumption of magical objects. Tara saw it all, but never left your side.
Oh, she's a good
Speaking
girl.
of which, I brought you something for your tummy troubles.
Ooh. How kind.
A ring coursing with magic. The Netherese orb within you shudders, longing to consume, to devour. It must be satisfied.
We have a great deal of catching up to do. Eat that, have a wash, and for the love of all that's dear, a shave. Then you can fill me in on what I've missed.
Thank you, Tara. I really needed this.
Of course, Mr. Dekarios. What else are friends for? Now eat up. If you explode and kill us all, I'll be furious.
Oh, she's a good girl. My desk has been entirely cat-free throughout this playthrough, and then as soon as Tara showed up, Cherry has appeared, and so I was just able to fuss her throughout that conversation. Cherry is also a good girl. Now, what's this ring of evasion that we've picked up? We don't look well. I think we might need to consume something. Dexterous evasion. Whenever you fail a dexterity saving throw, you can use your reaction to succeed instead. That sounds far more useful than something that we want to just devour. But what else do we have? We haven't picked up a lot of magic items yet, aside from the Watcher's Guide. So, Shadowheart, would you mind going back to your mace and giving me that spear? Thank you very much. Consume.
You breathe a little easier. The magic you consumed has staved off the dark hunger within you. For now.
Excellent. And we should probably put that ring on our finger. So it's a new day. Astarion is throwing daggers around.
Adventure awaits.
Lae'zel's sharpening her sword. Shadowheart's just chilling, praying, meditating. Hard to be sure. Is Tara still present? I guess that's our little tent, perhaps. It's full of books and whatnot, which sounds like the sort of thing we would do. Oh, there's Tara. There's a storage box. We'll take it. Now, do you have anything else to add, my dear friend?
A word.
Ah! Oh, goodness. That thing on your face is even worse than I remember.
What's wrong with my beard?
Mr. Dekarios, if you have to ask, there's no hope for you at all. Please tell me you've at least made inroads when it comes to finding someone to settle down with. Myself and Mrs. Dekarios are starting to think you intend to die alone.
You've been visiting my mother?
Naturally. After you abandoned her, there was only me left to keep her company. She's very good company, though. Ah, the stories we've traded over toast and tea. You're a highly entertaining source of speculation. But speculation only goes so far. Tell me, Mr. Dekarios, how have you been?
I mean, I was abducted on a Norsaloid and I was infected with an illithid parasite.
Oh, well, that is...
Yes.
How long do you have?
7 days, maybe? Definitely not 10 days.
Days? Mistra preserve us, Mr. Dekarios. Gale, you are the finest mind, the finest wizard I have ever had the pleasure to know. If anyone can beat this thing, it is you. When you tried to control the weave, when it all went, pardon my language, belly up, I was terrified. Scared you'd be hurt. Scared Mistra would punish you for your transgression. But do you know what never crossed my mind? That you wouldn't figure a way out of it. My clever friend never leaves a knot knotted. This parasite is one more knot, so get to tugging threads. And, Mr. Dekarios, please, the beard. I'd cut it down myself if I could hold a razor.
Yeah, maybe we should do something about the beard. I don't know if we've got a lot of choice, though, to be honest. Let us leave camp. We're back on the road. Past those mysteriously dead tieflings that were nothing to do with us. And what's in this general direction?
We should check it out, but be careful.
Shouting up ahead. Come on, crew. First of all, let's pop this way and see if we can't pick up that ancient sigil circle. There we go. Waypoint discovered. Now we can investigate this shouting. Let's get a good vantage point up this hill.
Open the bloody gate!
Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders!
That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now!
You let goblins here? Where is the druid?
Please! There's no time!
By the nine hells! Open the gate!
Well, this doesn't look good. Whole lot of goblin.
Cannon! No!
Well, looks like this is a non-canon playthrough.
Shit! Form a line!
Damnable roach! Provoke the blade! And suffer its sting.
It's a cool guy. He's going to help us out. Now, we've got initiative on Gale and Astarion. Who's that goblin there? They're quite way down the list, but they're still ahead of Lae'zel, so she's not going to be able to punt them off the cliff anytime soon. Which is a terrible shame. We can try a shove with Gale. Hey! Get off my cliff. Now, what's our next manoeuvre? We've got a few spell slots available to us. Got Guiding Bolt, which does good damage. It's probably not necessary against these little trackers though, because it deals like 4 to 24 damage. But that lad down there has got a lot of health, so... And it only dealt 9 damage this time, but still, better than nothing. Now, Astarion. You could potentially stab that one. for 3 to 8 damage. Yeah, we'll just stab that one, I think. Or not. And we could always give it a shove. And this time we fail.
Scouts! Get to the high ground! Raiders! Guard the bastards!
So, this Zakrug seems to be in charge. What are you going to do from up there, Zavlor? Gotten a good hit. Oh! Bugbear's coming this way. I wasn't expecting that. Don't think I've ever seen the bugbear come this way before. Now they're all going to be falling on their ass. What do we want to do with Shadowheart? We definitely want to move her in. Maybe another guiding bolt. No, we can't quite see that guy. Can we drop down to here and try another shove on this one? Nice. Not a huge amount of damage, but a start. And we could guiding bolt this one because no, we had disadvantage. My bad, because it was too close, I guess. Because we want to whittle down their numbers. This is a thing that must be done.
By sickle and sword.
Will's getting right in the action. Gale's taking more hits. And now, finally, Lae'zel gets to strut her stuff. But she doesn't have the movement to get in there and deal with this lad. Unless she does a well-aimed jump. Hup. And a critical miss. Bloody hell. So, what are you going to do, Gale? Are you going to fire off more guiding bolts at this bugbear? That's good damage. Now, do you want to potentially move down here and get off a shove on this lad? If we can. We failed. Not a surprise, really. Astarion. Do you want to just fire a spell at that guy? Get rid? Yep. Sounds like he's in trouble. And then we'll move you down a bit. You're a bit sturdier than some.
I'll bleed every last one of you!
Yeah, then, you're a bad dude. If you could stop hitting our friends, that would be cool. Reckless Warcry, that seems bad. And there goes the bugbear. Sweet. You just fell on your butt because of the grease. Not a huge surprise. At least no one's setting it on fire. Now, Shadowheart. We could move down a bit. This guy has like 1 health left, so a cantrip should do the job. And it does exactly the job. Good. What's Aradin going to do? He's going to use his action surge for a bit of extra action. Will is going to take extra damage there because he's an idiot. But he's got a potion, so it's not the end of the world. And that's another one down. It's going well. So, Lae'zel, what can you do from up here? You can reach that goblin tracker. The huge damage. You go, girl. Potentially you can do other things if you channel divinity and use your war priest action. You've got 3 charges and they recharge every long rest. I don't know if we really need to expend it right now because this fight is going well. What are you two up to?
With ease.
I feel like cantrips should be enough to save the day at this point. Sacred Flame. It's only 55% though. What else have we got that's just a cantrip? We can sort by bonus action stuff, or we can sort by cantrip there. Yeah, this is our only attacking cantrip. So let's give it... Actually, let's use our bow. Nice. Good job. And then Astarion, you can get in there. You've got Toll the Dead. And that will hit... That's a necromancy cantrip, so it should hit 2 targets, right? Nice. Warg and Goblin Boss are all that we've got to worry about, so... Toll the Dead again. 8 to 26. Oh, and it saved. Dang it. But now Mans is back in the action. That guy is probably running a bit low on health. Bath. No, he's doing alright, actually. Tell a lie. But still, let's get Lae'zel in there to give it a smack. Use our Channel Divinity to increase our roll. 5 extra damage. Totes worth it. No, we'll leave it there because Gale's got his bow. And he's got the job done with that. And then Astarion can Toll the Dead again. There's no one else available to hit, is there? No. Job done.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
Die by the spell. Huh. Damn them. That's what I always say.
Yep. That's certainly a thing you would say, Gale.
Tenacious. I wonder what they wanted here, other than bloodshed.
A horde must have settled nearby. More will come, and more after that.
Yeah, it is entirely possible that there's just goblins all over the shop. Recipe unlocked. Ashes of Dragon Egg Mushroom. Ah, we picked up some items then that can be used to make potions. It's not a thing I generally do when I'm playing through, but hey ho. And Zakrug has dropped the Gloves of Power. On a hit with a weapon attack, possibly inflict a penalty to the target's attack rolls and saving throws, and it gives you +1 sleight of hand. Could come in handy. We can equip them. And we can equip a shield, because we've got one now. So that's our armor class up to 15. Which might stop enemies from constantly just relentlessly attacking Gale. Although it might not. We'll have to see. We've found our way into the Emerald Grove. Let's see what everyone has to say about that.
There are children here, you fool! We was running for our lives. You led them straight to us, and you let them take the druid too? Unbelievable!
So one fight has just ended, and now you're picking another. Just chill out, guys.
Tell that to the dead at the gate.
Shut it, Horns! I'd be lying dead next to the goblins if you'd stalled any longer.
My duty is to this camp.
Oh, God forbid you risk your precious tail. But I shouldn't be surprised. Foulbloods ain't known for courage.
That sounds
You
racist.
see the tiefling's jaw clench. He's about to erupt.
We should try and persuade people. More violence isn't going to bring back those you've lost. That'll be the critical fail again. We could use inspiration. Heck with it.
With a thunk, the armored man collapses, unconscious.
Get wrecked.
Enough. The goblins have found us. No doubt the beast will be back.
We need to pack up and leave. Immediately!
Same vigor fighting goblin, for once.
Hardly the intelligent way to solve your problems. I suggest we seek out their healer, then move swiftly onwards.
Yes, seeking out a healer is probably a good idea, but that is going to have to wait, along with the exploration of the Emerald Grove, until next time. So until then, thanks for watching, friends.